the music, everything.
What do we think of Arteta's interview there with the Moose?
Well, what do you think of it? Because for me, listening to that,
it was very much like that, wasn't it?
It was very kind of bitter, and just be honest with you're not proud of your players. You're not happy with that performance.
No, and then he was alluding to blame the referee for spoiling the game.
Well, no, Rob Holding spoiled the game for you.
Well, once you're booked, as a defender, anyone on the pitch knows, right? Once you're booked, don't give the referee an excuse to get his card out, right? Oh my gosh! And the first thing the referee does is like, "You idiot." You can see he said, "I've warned you 3 times. Now you got a yellow.
Yeah.
You've done it." 33 minutes in, Jay. In the biggest game of the season, he gets 2 yellows, and he was lucky not to get a yellow before he got the yellow.
It's just ridiculous.
That's the point. And that's what I'm saying about Arteta, who's on that side. Mm-hmm. He's there. The message has got to get across to him. You cannot give another foul away. You've got. And what I feel the message to Holding before the game was, because those two grappled 4 or 5 times before the red card, I think Holding has been told, you've got to get close, you've got to make sure he doesn't turn, because the last thing you want is Son turning and running at you, right? When he didn't. And all of those, you remember, Holding is right up his backside. He's getting close. He's grappling. He's giving little mini fouls away. But once that happens, it takes your power away, because you can't start doing that anymore. And then Holding inexplicably just decides to shove his elbow in his face.
You know what? It's just, when you go into these games, I said it before the game, and you know this, Chase, you played in big games. You know, as a manager, you've got to hype the team up. You've got to get them ready, but there's got to be a calmness to it and a composure.
Composure's the right word.
And Tottenham had that. You know, they were at it. You could see they was on them. They wanted to go and win the ball, but they wasn't rash, or they wasn't, stupid with their passes and their tackles. Arsenal looked like they were just... They went out and it just all kind of fell apart really quickly. Mm. And that's the difference in a great manager and an average manager.
Yeah. And I think Arteta, look, who knows, he may well turn out to be a very good manager. I think actually there's been parts of this season where he's proved or shown that he can be a very good manager. To get Arsenal where they are, muscling in and around that top 4, bearing in mind where they were after 4 or 5 games, he has done a really good job. But at crucial times this season, and tonight really does show it up for what it is, they're not ready, and he as a manager's not ready. I think it probably is not the worst thing for him or Arsenal if actually going in the Champions League, you'd feel as though they get exposed quite badly.
Who do you think would be better value to the Champions League next season?
Spurs. There's no doubt about it in terms of what they've got, the manager, but who knows what's going to happen in the summer transfer window.
Let's go to Aaron, who's a Spurs fan. Aaron, good evening.
Evening, guys. Great show as always.
Thanks, Azza. Look, as a Spurs fan tonight, an unbelievable atmosphere, an unbelievable night. Couldn't have got any better.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the atmosphere was unbelievable. I was watching it on... unfortunately, I couldn't get to the game tonight, but I was watching it and I heard Gary Neville say it was the best atmosphere that he's experienced all season. And it came across on the TV. But I just wanted to make a point about the level of maturity that I think that you saw from Tottenham tonight. Not just in the way that they managed the game after, going 3 goals up, but also the way that they went into the first period of the game. There was a calmness about Spurs, and that is obviously clearly something that Conte has brought. And then the contrast between the two sides. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be quite embarrassed listening to Arteta's interview. If my manager came on and said that he was proud of his players after we'd just been embarrassed 3-0 away from home at our biggest rivals in the most important game of the season, I'd be absolutely fuming. And I think that just shows that the gulf in sort of class between the managers, obviously. I also think that if we'd have come out of this game tonight and just sort of nicked a 1-0 in a cagey game, I wouldn't have been very confident about us then going on to get that 4th spot. But I think the manner of the victory from us tonight and the manner of the defeat for Arsenal now firmly puts us in the driving seat. I don't know how Arteta, with his lack of experience, picks up his players after that performance and goes and picks up 6 points in the next 2 games. I just don't see it happening.
I find it hard to disagree with pretty much everything you said there, Aaron. I agree. I think Arteta looked out of his depth, actually, in speaking to the Moose in the interview. The way he dealt with it, and
it's childish.
Yeah, there's a little bit of petulance there, isn't it? A bit salty. It's hard. Again, I go back. It's difficult. These guys have been put in a situation where they've just suffered the biggest defeat of the season. They are now on the brink of not getting top four. We went back 6 weeks ago. It looked like it was guaranteed. Somehow they've managed to drop silly points and managed to claw their way back into it. But tonight's performance in the biggest game of the season was underwhelming. Now that's not a performance from a side that went into it, in my mind, knowing a draw is a great result. A great result. Didn't even look like getting anything out of it at any point.
Okay, let's go to Lewis, who's an Arsenal fan. Lewis.
Hi, boys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you, Lewis. What did you make of it tonight? The first 15 minutes of the game, and after that, it was a tough one.
Listen, I love the show. I love the way you two wind people up. It's absolutely brilliant. But listen, boys, if you watch the game tonight, the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we was absolutely all over them, right or wrong. Yes?
No.
I tell you. So the first 15 minutes,
it wasn't, Lou. It wasn't. You had a comfortable 4-5 minutes at the start of the game. Comfortable.
Let me ask you both a question. Jamie, Jason, is that, in your day, a penalty?
I think it's soft. I do. I think it's soft. I said that. I think it's a soft decision. I think it's one of those, if the referee doesn't give it, no one says it's the worst decision they've ever seen. I agree with that. But I have to say, Lewis...
Hang on, Jay.
Go on.
Jamie, even in your day, is that a penalty in your day?
It's a penalty, Lou.
No,
Stonewall.
He thought it was a red card as well.
Stonewall penalty, Lou. And Rob Holding should have got sent off before he got sent off.
In your position, I'd think it was a red card as well. But boys, listen, we started the game absolutely fantastic. Right or wrong, we did.
Do you know what, Lewis?
He started okay, Lou.
Yeah,
he started okay.
It was a decent start, but you never troubled them, and I felt that Spurs were in their shape. They were defending well. They got the but they almost allowed Arsenal. I felt that Spurs first 10 minutes. I just did.
Boys, you can't say that, right?
I just did.
Right, so let me ask you another question, Jamie. In your day, was that 2 yellow cards?
Yes. It's two yellow cards in any day. He made 3 fouls before it. He's holding on to Son for the third one. He's holding on to him for the third foul. So the ref goes, "You've had 3. That's a yellow. Now use your head and don't make another stupid decision."
Did you watch the first yellow card?
Yes, he's got his arms round him. Son's away from him.
Hugging each other.
Lewis, but he's had 3 before that, so that's why he's booked him.
Come on, it was half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. Come on,
Lewis,
it's
the
not.
reason he got the yellow card was not specific.
Come on, right now. So let's go on to.
What about in your day?
Yeah. How old are you, Lou?
I am 38.
Right, so in the same day that me and you were on, tonight...
That's never a penalty, Jay. That's never a penalty.
It's a pen, Lewis.
But Lewis, the fact...
Lewis, Arteta's making excuses, Lewis. Hold on, Lewis, let's talk Arsenal.
That's never a penalty.
Lewis, let's talk about Arsenal. Let's talk about your manager, his interview after the game. What did you make of that?
Let's get on to Arteta's interview, yeah?
Go on.
Yeah, you two are very, very clever, right? And I know the reason he did not answer them questions is because why?
I don't know. Go on. You tell me.
Because he'll end up getting a ban. He'll end up getting a ban from the FA. Right?
Yeah, but he's making excuses, Lewis.
He's going to say exactly what I've said. That is never a penalty. And you're telling me that's 2 yellow cards. I've got to disagree, boys.
He's making excuses, Lewis, for his poor team and coming out in the biggest game of the season and saying that he's proud of his players. That's not good enough.
Look, I've not got a dog in this fight, right? I couldn't care who won tonight. It doesn't bother me one with the other.
Yeah, we know that.
What Lewis was saying there is he's not mentioning anything about his team's performance. He's looking at the referee. He's looking at sometimes you get good decisions and you get bad decisions. Tonight, Arsenal, you've got to be honest with yourself. Is he still there, Lucy? Gone?
No, he's gone.
Be honest with yourself about tonight's performance. Forget the referee, right? I didn't think it was a penalty. I think it's soft, right? But it's given, right? Over the 90 minutes, who was the better side?
Tottenham.
Who deserved to win?
Tottenham.
Who deserved to have a man sent off?
Arsenal.
There you go, right? That is the story of the game. Arsenal were not good enough tonight. Don't blame the referee.